worrisome. And I want to go directly to our next guest, former White House senior policy advisor Stephen Miller. He's also the founder of America First Legal, an organization fighting Democrats in the courts. All right, Steve, welcome. You got a lot of heavy lifting on your shoulders. I tried to lay it out for you. What do you think about all this? And most recently, court packing and ending the filibuster. A hell of a package.
Well, your monologue laid everything out perfectly, but I want to just pick up a few items that you touched on. So first, I have to say this, Larry, because I know it's an important issue to you. It's an important issue to me. The economy is booming right now because of Operation Warp Speed, the greatest economic stimulus of all. And let's just thank President Trump and his team for doing that. But what could come crashing to a halt is all of that growth if we go down the projects that the left has proposed, left-wing social engineering, sky-high taxes, and productivity-destroying regulation. The issue you raise about court packing is also closely related to the economic growth issue. Because if you have a left-wing Supreme Court with 4 more justices, they are going to rubber stamp every single crazy regulatory scheme you can possibly imagine. And when that happens, our country is going to cease to be an innovator and a pioneer, and it's going to become a slow, dreary, socialist-style economy that goes nowhere.
What I don't get here, what are we supposed to do? You pack the court, you're right, with 4 leftist justices, which is what they want. And the people that unveiled this new proposal, they want to tie the filibuster to the court packing. Okay, the way to get the court packed is to get rid of the filibuster, blah, blah, blah. So, Stephen, what happens here? Biden reverses Trump, but then, you know, the conservatives are going to take over the Congress and the White House at some point. It could be in the very near future, so they'll reverse Biden. My point is, you can't have a country that keeps flipping and flopping. You can't make a law, then reverse the law, then bring the law back. We are the rule of law. That should be, you know, a constant, if you will. The Constitution is supposed to be a constant. I don't understand what these people think they're going to get from this.
It would be the death of the Supreme Court as we know it to engage in this court packing scheme. What it would mean is that every 2 years, if somebody else comes into power in Congress, or every 4 years you get a new president, then you go from 13 justices to 17 to 20 to 30. You basically turn the Supreme Court into an adjunct of Congress, a political branch of government that does the bidding, that obeys the will of Congress. It becomes hopelessly politicized with no end in sight. And I'll tell you something else. Here's what's remarkable. We've had, what, a functional conservative majority in the Supreme Court now for 5 months, Larry? In other words, you know, Roberts is a swing justice, right? So you've had about 5 conservative-oriented justices, originalist justices, for about 5 months. Larry, those of us on the conservative side of the aisle lived with a left-wing Supreme Court for 5 decades. For 5 decades without court packing. We've had a Supreme Court with originalist judges for 5 months, and the left is already melting down and having a temper tantrum.
So let's go back to the politics of this. President Biden, then candidate Biden, during the campaign, says no to court packing and no to ending the filibuster. Looks a little shaky to me, these no's. Looks a little shaky. I want to ask you, what's the political outlook on the Hill with this?
Biden has a credibility problem, and it's a serious problem, in the sense that his words are not matching his actions. And when you lose credibility, when you aren't a promise keeper, then people start tuning you out and stop trusting you. You know, the most remarkable thing about the Trump presidency is that he did everything that he promised. He religiously followed through on his commitments to the American people. So if Biden says he opposes court packing and then does it, if Biden says he's introducing an infrastructure bill and then it's not real infrastructure, if Biden says he's going to govern as a centrist and a moderate, and instead he's proposing economy-crushing, job-killing tax hikes, he is going to lose the trust of the American people, and that will make it increasingly difficult to govern.
And how confident are you the Republicans, each one of them in the Senate, every single one of the 50, will stand up against this court packing and ending the filibuster?
I'm confident that if all 50 Republicans stand together, they will be able to stop the court packing and probably, not definitely, but probably stop the filibuster destruction if they all stick together, because they're going to be able to bring the entire country with them. But if Republicans start breaking away, then that will give the excuse, or not just even breaking away, just running from the fight, just not being present. Then that will create the space, that will give the excuse for the mansions and the cinemas to join with Schumer and finish the job. And I, for one, would weep for my country if we reached a point where the crown jewel of our republic, the rule of law, became just one more instrument of political power. What makes our country special, the reason why people want to do business here, is because of our liberty. And our liberty is grounded in what? The rule of law, the sanctity of our contracts. The idea that the words on the page of the Constitution mean what they say. The words in the Bill of Rights mean what they say. And you get rid of that, and it's just whatever the people in power think it means, or want it to mean, or would wish it to mean, then we're not exceptional anymore. And that would truly be sad for all of us.
Well, well put, Stephen. Well put. It's like a third world country. You can't rely on anything. There is no basis, no foundation, no rock, no standard, nothing. Steve Miller, best of the best. Thank you. Appreciate you weighing in on all this.